Welcome back to the Latics Published Podcast. I'm joined by Don.
Hello, my lovelies.
And today we're going to be, we have two actual special guests. Today we've got Tom.
Yeah.
And we've got Thomas.
How are we doing?
And we're going to be talking about a few points about the defeat today away to Blackpool. It did end Blackpool 1, Wigan 0. Don, what are your thoughts on that game?
What a joke! Genuinely, we're laughing. We're all laughing. Get your giggles out, lads, because genuinely, that's the laughing stock of our season, that game. Awful. Every single player, named and shamed. Awful players. Genuinely, the only player who looked like the cur is Tom Pearce and Charlie Hughes. And, they was both not at their best today. I don't know what's gone on with Hughes the last few games. He's been awful, to be honest. But every single player has been awful. They're just spineless now. They don't care about the season. They know it's over. We all know it's over now. I think if we lose to Stoke, it's concrete that we're down. I think it's mathematically. I think we're safe. I think we're relegated. But genuinely, what a joke!
Yeah, and just on that point as well of us sort of being down now, Tom. Also, what are your thoughts on that shocking 90 minutes?
Telawasga just didn't look like he were bothered at all. We looked like we were defending their net, really.
Yeah.
Going from letting it go in. Obviously, near the end of it, there was a shout for an handball. I didn't really see it. I don't think it was. But I'd just like to say the goal in the third, it was the second or third minute.
Second
minute. Obviously, I rate the pass, but what was our defence thinking of letting it through like that?
Yeah, and with such a clinical striker like Jerry Yates as well, I don't really know what we were thinking. Thomas, what's your assessment on that 90 minutes?
I expected more goals from Blackpool, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
After what we saw on Monday, that today I would have expected 3 or 4-0.
Yeah. And sort of, we heard about Maloney in his interview defending the players. Don, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know how we can defend them players anymore. And I just want to go on Thomas's point of, these players. What's it called? They are genuinely a joke. They are awful.
Yeah.
They're just spineless anymore. They don't care. Like I said, it's not concrete, but they don't care. And Maloney, if you're a fan and you are genuinely criticising him, take a long, hard look at yourself, because what he has done with those group of players, I know he's not kept us up, but what he has done with them, he has put hope back into the club, and I genuinely think we'll go up with him next season. He's the right man for the job. And obviously, if it doesn't go well at the start of next season, maybe think of sacking him, but at least give him a transfer window where he can sign Maloney players, and he doesn't have to play Liam and Colo players. Because, none of those players that are in this matchday squad today were Maloney players, were they?
No.
I think Rakik was the only one that Maloney signed.
Yeah.
We need a full team. We need a rebuild. Hopefully the owners will back us. Whether it's likely or not, no one knows, do they? But, hopefully he can give us a...
Yeah, and as well, just on that point of Maloney's interview, Tom, what are your thoughts about some of the points that he made today?
You could see the emotion in his eyes, really.
Yeah.
Because he was in his prime time playing football. Obviously, he was the one who made us win the FA Cup with the cross onto Ben Watson's head. And obviously, the goal, what stopped United winning the league. But you can see the emotion in his eyes watching the downfall of Wigan Athletics slowly come to an end.
Yeah, and I think as well, some of the decisions this season have just been so questionable. And Thomas, what is your assessment as well on what Maloney said? A few of his points as well. They did make sense, but again, defending the players, he just can't do it anymore. What are your thoughts on that?
He needs to accept. He needs to come out and say to us, "We're not good enough."
Yeah.
He needs to stop in his interviews. The one I've been annoyed at him recently after that Swansea interview where he said he'd take that result.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one either.
How can you take a 2-0 result when you've stood there on the touchline from minute 1 to minute 90 and watched it?
How can you say those players are aggressive as well?
Yeah, I understand that as well.
Midfielders. I mean, what the Maloney?
Well said, Don.
Yeah, I know as well. In his Swansea interview as well, I said it in the last episode. what were some of the decisions he was making? You know, he said we're unbeaten at home, which was something that neither Liam or Colo did, and some of his decision making against Swansea was honestly questionable. And I know a lot of people didn't. You know, we were expecting at least like a draw, but the way that Swansea executed their game plan, I said it in the last episode. They did it very well. They did it against us. Our system was just totally flat. We didn't create anything. I mean, apart from in the first 2 minutes when they couldn't string a pass together, but after that we just flopped, and that was it. And
I think as well with that, the home record this season hasn't been not been good at all. But I also think that can come down to the fans.
Yeah, I think as well our low attendance. Not much of an atmosphere.
Not much of the attendance wise, because that's what we tend to get all the time.
Yeah.
But it's the chants. You do not hear them.
No, and especially ES2. About half time, ES2 was empty.
If we go 1-0 up, that's when we start getting them. We need to back them from minute 1 to minute 90.
I agree.
Do it. I don't know if there's any of you to see what Blackpool's home support's like. Do it like they do.
Yeah. And you saw behind the goal.
They show the passion for the club.
Yeah, behind the goal at Blackpool as well. We saw.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny though. It's hard to make an atmosphere at the DW because we actually have more home fans than Blackpool, but they've obviously got a smaller ground. So maybe have plans for a smaller ground in the future. Maybe our own ground, so we don't have to deal with the dirty the rugby lot. But
I've always said it as well. Our ground's way too big for us.
Yeah,
it was meant for a Premier League club.
I mean, Plymouth have got the perfect ground. Rotherham have got the perfect ground. You know, not too big, not too small. They're both beautiful grounds, and they both fill it and make it atmosphere. And that atmosphere at a home ground is what decides your fate in the league. Yeah. You know, it makes you hard to beat at home. We're easy to beat at home. We're easy to beat anywhere.
Yeah, but the problem is it never used to be like that.
Yeah,
like it is now. Before COVID hit, it was fine. You know, yes, we had probably smaller crowds, but atmosphere-wise, it was decent.
Yeah, and I think as well, ever since COVID,
it's this new generation of people
that
don't support the club, don't know nothing about the club, that just want to go out and watch a bit of football. They don't know.
And I think as well, what ES2 has become since COVID is just disgusting, really.
Just
at half time
as
well, as I was saying before, at half time in the last episode, ES2 was absolutely empty. Nobody was in it, and I mean, I don't really blame them, but there was nothing on. And sort of, we've sort of been on this point about atmosphere and stuff. Sort of, when Maloney came in as well, he sort of made that atmosphere come back around the club. He sort of reignited that, and sort of ever since that Blackburn draw as well, I think he sort of got some hope back for us, and that's when our crowd sort of improved, especially against Huddersfield. You know, the ground was rocking when we scored, and that sort of pushed the players on to win.
It should be like that from kickoff.
Yeah,
and if it was, we'd be okay.
Yeah,
we'd be a mid-table championship club.
Yeah. And also, just on that point of mid-table championship, at the start of the season, we were absolutely amazing.
I was thinking we'd push for playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't sound stupid, but you know.
I know. Ever since that Blackburn game where we won 1-0, even then we didn't play well, but we won, and that's sort of the thing that we needed. And we were up to 9th. And I think also, Don, what did you think when we was around that time then? What do you think happened? What went wrong?
We don't have a striker, do we?
No.
You know, there's loads of. I dip into non-league. You know, Macaulay Langstaff. You know, he's a player. He's 41 goals.
Mullin maybe.
Mullin,
I think that's unrealistic. You know, Louis Satchel.
Yeah,
he's got goals.
You can say all this though, but that sort of mojo we had at the very start of the season. Thomas, what do you think happened to that? What killed that?
I think sort of the run we were going on when Richardson got sacked was sort of similar to what happened at the end of League One.
Yes, yeah.
So personally, I don't think we should have ever sacked him.
But this is a big but. The sort of his tactics, playing hoofball in the Championship, we just got found out immediately, and I don't think that would have really helped.
Yeah, and especially the Colo Torre experiment.
Yeah, I don't understand what the board were thinking about that.
That was...
Gamble.
I go as far as saying that ruined our season.
Yeah, that was a big gamble. Tom, what did you think about that gamble as well of Kolo Toure?
If I could say words, I would. But he was atrocious.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing? What was it? Leicester, Brendan Rodgers, great manager. Why are you bringing an assistant manager? Well, Mikel Arteta did it there.
Got no managing experience as well.
Yeah, no managerial experience. God, you know what? Go Wigan and see how you do.
And by the way, to put on your point, it wasn't even the assistant manager; it was their corner taking coach. I mean, what the? How on earth do we get a corner assistant as our manager? It's laughable. It's Talal. It's Al Jasmi. Useless.
Yeah.
I want to add on that.
Go on, Tom.
Kolo Toure. I just don't think you were the right man. Right? Yeah, he's fucked the season up for us. His first game of season was Millwall. And everybody thinking, "Oh, we're gonna do good under him," and then you got to the Sunderland, we got battered by them. Obviously, that Admid Diallo goal, fantastic goal, but I just don't think he was the right man for the job at Wigan Athletic. He was trying to play Premier League style round us.
Yeah,
we're just used to give it to Watmore, hoof it, give it to Hughes, hoof it, because we used to have Keane running onto it. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with Keane, though, he never used to win headers.
He doesn't still. That's the issue.
He doesn't. They look scared to jump.
Especially Ashley Fletcher. My God.
He's about 11
He's a
foot
fraud.
He's not winning every single header.
Also, I'm genuinely questioning whether Ashley Fletcher's an actual professional footballer.
I question the whole team. Or the majority of the team, at least.
I question why the hell, right? I know you all not like him. I do. Why the hell do you put Steve Humphries straight into Scottish League? Do you know what? He could be one of our best players. You never know.
I don't think I've said this all season. I don't think he would have been any good in the Championship.
Yeah, but he'll be better than Ashley Fletcher.
Yeah.
He'd be better than Keane. He'd have tried. He'd had passion for the club.
Yeah, you saw in those performances in League One at the back end of the League One season, he was actually trying. Like when we were losing, he was actually trying.
Because he brought us together at that Rotherham game when we scored that stonker outside that box.
Yeah. See? We weren't even playing well up to that point.
Well,
in my opinion, by the way, what we've got to do everything in our power to keep Jamie McGrath. He's genuinely our most creative player. He's absolutely tearing it up for Dundee in Scotland. Him and Stephen Humphries genuinely could score 30 goals between them. Yeah, they could be pivotal to our season next.
Yeah. I see it with Graham Shinney too.
Yeah.
Because you look at Christ Heath and Graham Shinney in the midfield, you're chilling there.
That makes you hard. It's unreal.
Just on a level as well. Sort of just for our final point as well. I mean, I know it's been said before, and I'll say it again. How do you think we're going to do in League One, Tom?
Honestly, I think my language. Yeah, I think we're going to rape it here. If we get some Sean Maloney players into the team, you never know. If you dip, as Don said, if you dip into the National League, I keep saying maybe Paul Mullin. He's class. But maybe if you look at, because we're going down now, maybe look at the Premier League, the Championship players who are alright, but you can get them for a good bargain.
Yeah.
I think maybe get a couple goals there, but obviously we're going to be going under pressure where you're going to have Reading and Blackpool competing for it too.
Yeah, and with obviously, even though Blackpool have won today again, they're obviously going to be in League One. Thomas, what do you think as well for the promotion rivalry? Obviously, in the playoffs, we've got if they're not going to go up, if they don't go up, we got sort of Bolton, Derby, we've got Barnsley potentially. We've got all this competition. I just can't see us being competitive. But we said that in 2021-22, and we smashed the league. But what are your thoughts for next season?
We'll be competitive next season, but those three that you've mentioned, and possibly if it'll be us, Blackpool and Reading, if that happens.
Yeah.
That top six will be decided on the last day.
Yes, definitely.
It'll be up and down all season. Uncertainty. until it comes down to that last day.
Yeah. And
So we just got to look at it and go, right, we know how to win this league.
I just want to mention the
Let's do it.
Blackburn game. I think Daniel Sinani, we're missing him.
Yeah, we are definitely. He was sort of our
Playmaker, really.
striker. He had the ounce of sort of confidence to keep going forward. And I think sort of
Kelly.
Yeah, as well. He sort of pulled the defence together, and when he got injured, that was a real bummer.
Yeah.
And just finally, Don as well. If we get like a proper striker next season, do you think we could go far, sort of playoff or higher?
Well, I'm looking at non-league strikers here, and we've got Lewis Satchwell, John Satchwell, but 40 goals between them for Rush All Olympic. That's unbelievable. I mean, Macaulay Langstaff, 40 goals in non-league, unbelievable player. There's players out there. There's players out there. There is, but we need to spend our money very wisely because we know we've not got a lot of it. Miletos Derby, very, very good player. 25 goals this season. There's a few players out there that we need, and I don't see us getting them. But if we do sign a striker, I think second is our max. I don't see us winning the league.
I
think you're forgetting QPR in the league, Blackpool. QPR, they'll go straight back up.
It's gonna be a fun one. Let's just say that.
It will be fun. And just sort of finally, Tom, your point, what you was just saying, go on with that.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at here. Obviously, that administration season that completely buggered us. But I say, who's turning up at the minute? There's one man I have in mind: Barry Bannon and Josh Windass. Maybe look at them because they'd tear it apart.
Yeah, and sort of finally, obviously, what we're coming up against on Tuesday as well, a very spirited and strong Stoke side. They've got loans in Will Smallbone, who's been banging it out. They've got Jacob Brown sort of on the left and right wing. They've got Nick Powell, former Wigan player, up front. How do you think? What's your prediction for Tuesday, Tom?
I reckon about 3 or 4-0 Stoke.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that, Thomas. What are your thoughts?
20-0 Stoke. I'm only joking. I'll go with what Tom said, 3 or 4-0.
They've got Dwight Gale up front. They've got that.
We saw what happened against Sunderland, and that is a very good Sunderland side. They battered them 5-1.
We need to get something across to Stoke fans before Tuesday, sort of people that know the club.
Duggan Sterling from
Let's
Wigan.
try and get across to Stoke fans, play the best squad so they can embarrass us.
Yeah.
And actually show the board what they've left.
I just want to say, I want to add on that. I'm just looking at the team. They went against West Brom. They did lose, but they've also got Duggan Sterling. He used to play for us. Yeah. And Nick Powell, obviously. But that's small bone. He's been ripping it apart.
Yeah.
He'll be a terror to us. And Gale. You see how we didn't really deal with Pirro because we just left him open. That's how he got his 2 goals.
Yeah. And so that's it. I hope you enjoyed listening.
Yep.
We've had fun. We hope you have listening. You'll probably see us next time for the Wigan versus Stoke match preview. But until then,